Hello, everybody. My name is Wendy, and I'm here to do some podcasts on losing friends. I really had to think about it, and I kind of realised that everyone in the world loses friends, don't they? And it's a painful experience. So I wanted to do some podcasts on it. I'll do a whole section, and I'll be on my page, the Real Relationship page. And I'll put them as a playlist so you can find them. I'm really sorry if you've lost friends. It's not a good feeling. And I'm also sorry if you've had to walk away from friends because you have to walk away from friends. And I wanted to do these podcasts to look at all the different ways and the means and also the solutions. How do you cope with it? How do you cope with the loss? Because the loss of a friend is grief, and it can go on for months or years when you lose some friends. And we can lose them through all different ways. And I'll discuss it in all the different podcasts. I want you to understand that if you've lost friends, it's not always your fault. I think a lot of people lose a lot of self-esteem when they lose a friend. The person doesn't want to see you anymore, they don't answer your calls much, or they keep putting you off. And you can lose a sense of yourself. Am I not a good person? Did I do something wrong? Why is it like this? You've got to be really, really careful with this friend thing. Because if you've started a friendship and then it starts to fail, you'll often think there's something maybe I did or it's wrong, which isn't necessarily the case. Sometimes it's just that people aren't really that focused on having a friendship with anyone, really, and you just don't realise that sometimes you'll find they're just not people who make much investment with other people. It's just their nature. Maybe they're selfish. But when you first meet them, you don't pick up on that. And with the older friends, people you've known for a long time, if those start to mess up, it doesn't necessarily mean it's your fault. There will be times, yes, you have to take responsibility for something you've done in the relationship which has mucked it up. But you can always try to ask them that tell them you're sorry, and you can ask them to forgive you. That bit can be fixed up, then it's their choice, of course. But I feel a lot of people do lose friends and come away after several or many losses, just getting less and less wanting to be in friendships because they don't want to go through that again, or thinking it's always their fault. I'm just telling you, it's not always your fault. It can be lots of different reasons that the friendship ends, lots of different reasons that were actually out of your hands that you couldn't do anything about. And we keep changing. We're always changing. Like, I'm different to how I was 5 years ago, and in 5 years' time I'll be different again. And I want you to understand that we keep changing, they keep changing. So then sometimes we're sort of going in different directions, or we're not on the same page anymore. It's no one's actual fault. It's just part of the process. Let go of that. If you think in the past you've done some really not good things in friendships, or you've been a bad friend, well, look at that. And then in your new friendships or your current ones, try to be a better friend. That's all. Try to improve yourself. When I've talked to people about the loss and the grief they've had with some friendships, it's almost if they've been your best friend, or if you felt a really strong connection with them, when it doesn't work anymore for whatever the reasons are, you will feel that you've almost lost like a family member. And that's very, very normal when you lose. So if you're walking around really not getting over that you and Gail aren't friends anymore, it's okay and it's normal. And people don't talk about this stuff anymore. They just go, oh, well, we're not friends anymore, and it's just all put under the carpet. Don't do that. If you want to talk about it with your other friends, if you want to talk about it with your family members, if you want to go and have counselling around it, these people could have been as important or maybe even more important than your family. For example, if you've had a family background where it was very unnourishing and they weren't there to give you support, and you meet someone who becomes your friend and maybe close to one of your besties, as they call it, that person would have been giving you the love and the support that you didn't get, right? And you're giving it back, hopefully. Therefore, when the friendship dissolves, you're going to really feel that, because not only do you lose the friend, you lose the love and the support and the nourishment that you might not have been getting from other places. So don't feel bad about having a lot of trouble getting over it. You will have trouble getting over those really, really good relationships that fail. But it doesn't always mean it's your fault or their fault. Sometimes it's circumstance, you've changed too much. There's a variety of reasons why, and I'm going to go through them in my podcast. You might find it interesting. I want you to keep putting it out there to make new friends, because if you've lost a lot of friends, you'll be like, I don't want to do this anymore, it hurts too much. And that's really understandable. But I don't want you to go there if you can. I want you to go, okay, was there any part of it that I could have done better? And if you can fix it, you can. You can write apologies, you can leave messages, you can send a token, a little present or something if you've done something wrong and apologise for it. However, not all relationships are fixed by that. Some are. I've had relationships I've gone in 3 times with some of them. They were really meaningful to me, and I hated that they didn't work. There was something happened and they didn't work. So I kept going in, trying to fix it. I would have done that, some people, 2 or 3 times. It's a good idea to also do that if you value the friendship. It's worth going back and seeing if you can have it again. You can't always have it again, I'll tell you that. Some of them really didn't work when they came back. The thing between us wasn't the same. They just wouldn't basically forgive. And even if you say you're sorry, and even if you didn't do much and you say you're sorry, they don't forgive, and you've got to understand that. So, but it's worth trying if you think it's that person and your relationship is worth it. As we go through all the podcasts, there'll be some that are really pertinent to you, and you go, oh yeah, I know that one. There'll be some that won't be so pertinent to you, and you just pick and choose. But I'm going to do them, and I'll do them in the next while, so there'll be quite a lot coming up, and you might find that it'll help you. And I want to talk also about how to get over it, because losing them is awful. It's like a death, isn't it? It's like emotional death when you lose a friend. But then even if you had to walk away from someone because maybe they're toxic for you, or some really bad stuff happened, and you know you can't be with them anymore for whatever reason, you're still going to have the loss. And I want you to take the loss really seriously. This is a death of a friendship. It's a big death, and it's a big emotional death. And if you need to write about it a lot, that can help. I think getting down and writing about how you felt, how upset you were, because usually there's anger and hurt involved in that. Write it out, speak it out, release those 2 emotions. Are usually anger and hurt are very big, and emotional pain, which comes under the hurt umbrella. When you start letting go of that, you'll actually start to heal. But you can't do that at the beginning. You just have to process your feelings. It's sad. It's really sad. Every friendship that I've had that didn't work, I really had like a sadness and like a mourning. You go into like a mourning when you lose it. Even if in the end they were just impossible to be with and you couldn't do it and you knew it because they're so unhealthy for you, you still have that sadness and that disappointment and that wanting to have that back. But I always think it's better to have had that friendship and all the happy times you had and even the sad times that you shared, than to not have had it. And I want you to think like that too. I'm glad I had it. It was really good, and there were lots of great things, and it was a good time in my life. Okay, so we don't have it now, but I'm glad that I've had that. So you can also look at things from that point of view. I hope you will enjoy my podcast. I hope they'll help you, because I've lost quite a lot of friends because I'm older too. So as you get older, you lose more and more of them. When you're in your 20s, the attrition's not so bad. But I keep putting out. I keep learning the lesson that I did from that friendship, whatever the lesson that I had to learn. And maybe that was to not be treated badly, or to love myself enough to not be in it, or to take responsibility for the fact that whatever I did in the relationship that made it not work. I hope my podcasts can help you, and I hope that you can follow them, because I think losing a friend's really dreadful and it's so sad. I'll say goodbye, and I'll talk to you soon, and I hope that things go well for you this week.